yourself. No. Imagine constantly waking up at around 5 a.m., constantly going to practice, bringing in millions of revenues, and not getting paid. Sounds like indentured servants in America. This is what the concept of amateurism is defined by within the NCAA. College athletics can be compared to jobs, but one thing is missing. Pay should be enforced for work. College athletes need to be paid in ways other than tuition, or eventually players will not participate. I will tell you why college athletes deserve compensation other than the tuition they earn based on the revenue they bring to the NCAA division. College athletes need appropriate pay in order to maintain their basic lives. Many of these athletes bring in generous amounts of revenue that should be returned to them. Numerous colleges sought to ignore the amateurism view and pay their athletes in secretive ways, says Joe Seen in his article claiming that. Initially, many institutions ignored the first eligibility code by the NCAA, which stated that students should not need to be full-time and not paid for play. In the same article, Seen questions why athletes should not be paid for the revenues they generate and claims that many colleges agree with his questioning. Revenue is also generated from the faces of collegiate athletes being pictured on popular video games. In an article about the future of the NCAA, Catherine White states that, "We see these student athletes seeing the NCAA entering contracts to license what they think are their images and profiting off of them through the sale of video games. These players are not making any money off of their faces being on a video game. The NCAA gets all the profit. This is not morally right. How can the NCAA keep players from receiving proper benefits for their hard work?" This is former quarterback Denard Robinson on the cover of NCAA 14 Xbox video. He received no pay for his face being in the cover. All of this shows that numerous people question amateurism and demonstrates that collegiate athletes are deserving of pay. Now that we see there is an actual issue with amateurism, the next step is to solve that problem. While players who constantly participate in college sports do not get pay, there are a significant number of collegiate athletes who compete in the Olympics. In an article of the Journal of NCAA Compliance, I found that the NCAA president recently suggested that schools may reevaluate the rules and make it possible for current NCAA student athletes to accept prize money for winning medals at the Summer Olympics while maintaining their NCAA amateur status. If this is an option for competitors to win hundreds of thousands of dollars for competing in the Olympics, doesn't it make amateurism's foundation weak? The NCAA may be changing the new rules to certain cases, and this can eliminate amateurism as a whole. Amateurism is currently being dismissed in the Olympics and shows there is in fact room for change. I also found a journal article titled "The Con That Is Amateurism." This article talks about how a few basketball players sold their shoes for a profit and had charges filed against them for violating the amateur rule in the NCAA. The article then compares this to a graduate student selling textbooks that any other student could buy while also making profit. The main point of this comparison was to point out that no one from their school itself swoops in and suspends their scholarship, so why does the NCAA do this? Instead of treating the NCAA players like indentured servants, as the article states, the rules must be changed, and they already have been in regard to the Olympics. All of this shows that there can be a hopeful solution to the amateur role in the NCAA. Now that we understand there could be a solution to the problem, why does this even affect us, and should we even get involved? How can we help? There are many changes that need to be made to amateurism. A new millennium amateurism was proposed by Brian Porto. His new plan includes deferred compensation for the use of a player's name and face, the right to sign autographs, the right to obtain an agent, a valid scholarship, and the right to transfer. This plan is a perfect solution to the way amateurism should be functioning. We must be persistent with these changes in order to still make sure indentured servants do not exist in the United States of America. We can now see how rewriting amateurism is the key to ending unfair rights for collegiate players. Now, what can we do to help implement this process? There's obviously an issue within collegiate athletics. Many colleges and athletes even agree there is an issue. Rewriting amateurism can help fix this problem and reward players for their hard work. Contact NCAA about rewriting amateurism and your ideas. By doing this, you are helping collegiate athletes earn what they deserve and making sure credit is given where credit is due. Amateurism is not justifiable right now, and now you have the answers on how you can help eliminate indentured servants and amateurism within the United States.